I know. It's very, very bland behind me. All right, I'm still trying to figure out something to fill in there for the Christmas tree because obviously it's not Christmas time anymore. But on a way more important topic, it's a new year and the champs are way, way different than the year before. I'm telling you right now, I'm pretty sure every single champ besides one or maybe two have changed from this point this year compared to this point last year. And now I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for every single champion of every single weight class at the end of 2025. I did do this for the 2024 year, but I was very, very wrong when it comes to my predictions. I had things like Charles Oliveira and Aaron Blanchfield being champ. I was so off, but this year we're going to try it again, and you already know I'm going to be getting it spot on, 100% correct predictions right here, and today I'm going to be ranking every single UFC champion for the end of 2025. Kicking everything off, we have the women's UFC, obviously UFC, strawweight division. It's going to be Zhang Weili. And still, baby, unless she retires, I don't think anyone's going to be able to knock her off in that division. I don't think that she's going to fight again this year besides Tatiana Suarez. And I don't think that Tatiana Suarez is going to beat her. I do think that Tatiana Suarez is the one to beat her if anyone is going to. But I don't think it's going to be her. She's too inactive. She's too injury prone. She's so bad on the feet, man. Tatiana Suarez is so bad on the feet. Can't even argue it. All right. I don't think that she has really any good shot to beat Zhang Weili. If there's anyone that's going to do it in that strawweight division, I do think that it's going to be her, but I don't think that she's going to do it. The person that I actually do think is going to knock off Zhang Weili is nobody. I think that she's going to retire as the UFC strawweight champion. I do think that at least once she is going to move up and try to fight Valentina Shevchenko, and I don't think that she's going to win. I do think maybe at the end of this year, the beginning of next year, she is going to go up to flyweight and fight Valentina Shevchenko, but no way anybody knocks her off at strawweight. So for the end of 2025, I don't think anything's going to change, baby. Give me Zhang Weili, UFC champ. Next up, we have the women's flyweight division, and I think that the champion is once again going to stay with the current holder, as Valentina Shevchenko is going to remain the champion at the end of 2025. Once again, I do only think that she fights once. And I do think that it's going to be Manon Fiorot that gets it. Manon Fiorot is very, very good. Do not get me wrong, Manon Fiorot is very, very good. The way that she just schooled Aaron Blanchfield in Aaron Blanchfield's hometown so badly. I mean, it was very, very shocking to me. I don't think anyone can beat Manon Fiorot except for Valentina Shevchenko. There are obviously fighters like Aaron Blanchfield, who I feel like will be a champ in the future, Alexa Grasso, who very well could fight for the belt again, and of course Zhang Weili, who's probably going to move up and fight for the flyweight belt, especially if there's nobody at strawweight, which I don't think that there is after Tatiana Suarez, right? But I don't think Valentina Shevchenko is going to lose. I just don't think that she is. I think that she's going to fight Manon Fiorot, and maybe she'll fight Alexa Grasso again, or maybe she'll fight Zhang Weili, which she very well could lose these. I'm a lot more confident in her losing than Zhang Weili, but I just don't think that she's gonna. So I think that the belt's gonna stay with Valentina Shevchenko at flyweight. I don't think much movement's gonna really happen in this division. I don't think any rising contender is gonna come take the belt from her. So, yeah. Valentina Shevchenko, I think that the belt's going to remain with her for the UFC flyweight division. Moving on, our final women's division, because featherweight isn't real. We have the UFC women's bantamweight division, and I think this is an absolute no-brainer here, at least in my opinion. It's going to be Kayla Harrison. Nobody else can beat Kayla Harrison. Really, nobody can. Kayla's going to run through Raquel Pennington, who shouldn't even be the champion right now. It should be Juliana Pena. Or no. It should be Raquel Pennington. It is Juliana Pena. That's what I meant to say. Or maybe it's the other way around. Honestly, I don't care about this division at all. I know that the last championship fight for this division was a bad robbery. Bad robbery. Raquel Pennington literally dropped the Juliana Pena and still didn't get the decision. I can't believe it, right? But who really cares, though, because it's WME MMA. But either way, Kayla Harrison's going to school Raquel Pennington. She's going to school Juliana Pena. She's going to school literally anybody in this division. So, yeah, I mean, nothing else to be said. Kayla Harrison, bantamweight. Next up, moving on to the men's divisions, we have the UFC men's flyweight division. And I do, once again, believe that it's going to stay with the original holderess. Alexandre Pantoja is going to stay the champ at the end of 2025. As you guys know, he just fought on the last pay-per-view. Won dominantly over Kaya Sakura. And now there's a few options that you could go with Pantoja. Obviously, Manel Kape is going to fight Brendan Royval, and the winner of that's going to get the next title shot. But I don't think either of those guys beat him. Royval's already had 2 shots at it and lost twice, and Manel Kape sucks, and it's just not championship material. That's straight up, he's just not. His fight with Muhammad Mokaev showed it. He's not championship material. I do think that he's going to beat Brandon Royval. I will say that now. I do think that he is, but I don't think that he's going to beat Pantoja. I don't think Royval beats Pantoja. I don't think Moreno beats Pantoja. Albazi, obviously, is not going to be up next with Pantoja. Asu Alamabayev is very good, but I don't think he's going to be highly ranked enough to even get a title shot. Obviously, Joshua Van's in the same boat. He's a very, very good fighter, but I don't think that he's going to be quite at that title shot point yet by the end of 2025. So, who is Pantoja going to fight? Obviously, it's the winner of Kape and Royval. I think it's going to be Manel Kape. I don't think Manel Kape beats Alexandre Pantoja. I only think Pantoja is going to fight once this year because he fought in December of this last year. So I do think that he's going to want some time off, and I don't think that he's going to come back again until 2026. So I do think that the championship is going to stay with Alexandre Pantoja, and let's move on to the bantamweight Next division. Up, we have the UFC bantamweight division, and I am going to be deciding, which it was very, very close for me between a few people on who I believe is going to be champion. I think it's going to be Petr Yan. Give me Petr Yan. I'm very, very confident in this too. Let me tell you why. Obviously, Merab and Umar are fighting in a week. I do think that Umar is going to beat Merab. I don't think Merab is going to be able to just fling his body at Umar for 5 rounds and just let it happen. Okay? Umar's not going to stand there like Petr Yan, like a shell like this, and just kind of wait for Umar to just throw his body at him. Or wait for Merab to throw his body at him. Umar's going to push the pace. Umar's going to push the pace with offensive grappling on Merab. Umar has good striking. Umar has pop in his hands. Umar has a great takedown threat. I do think Umar's going to get past Merab, but the next person that's going to be fighting for the belt after him is Petr Yan. And Petr Yan, let me tell you, Petr Yan has some of the best takedown defense in the game. Defended 45 takedowns from Merab. He just didn't do anything offensively. He was overwhelmed, and nobody could have game planned for that Merab at that time. Nobody would have ever expected that Merab to come out of there. All right, now you can game plan for him. So I honestly feel like even if Merab, I think Petr Yan would beat Merab in a rematch. I think he would. I think Petr Yan would game plan for it a lot better. I think Petr Yan would push the pace offensively. I think maybe he would have some offensive wrestling for Merab. I think Petr Yan beats Merab and beats Umar. I don't think Sean O'Malley's going to fight again and then fight for the belt. I don't think Corey Sandhagen's going to fight again and then fight again and then fight for the belt. I don't think Song Yadong's going to get a title shot off of his win over Henry Cejudo that he's definitely going to get. So it's like, who else is it, man? I think it's either Umar or it's Petr Yan. Up to you guys, all right? I think it's going to be Petr Yan, but in a hypothetical matchup like that, that fight's going to be absolutely amazing. So I do think that Petr Yan's going to be the bantamweight champion, but it's a very, very close race. Moving on, we have the UFC featherweight division, and my prediction for who's going to be champ at the end of 2025, I got it being Alexander Volkanovski. And no, I don't think that Alexander Volkanovski beats Ilia Topuria. I don't think anybody at 145 can beat Ilia Topuria, and I don't think that anybody at 155 can beat him except for Islam, which I'll get into later. But from what we know and from what he's saying, Ilia Topuria is going to move up and vacate the belt. If he moves up and vacates the belt, well, you know, there's got to be a vacant title fight, and I think that vacant title fight will be with Diego Lopez and Alexander Volkanovski, and I'm going to pick Alexander Volkanovski 10 times out of 10 on that one. I don't think that Max Holloway is going to go down to 145. I don't think Movsar Evloev's going to do anything, because just, please, Movsar, do not get the belt. Don't even touch the belt. If Movsar beats Ilia Topuria or beats Alexander Volkanovski, man, I was praying for Aljo to beat him. I really was, but I don't think it's going to happen. Or obviously, it didn't happen. But I'm going to be going with Alexander Volkanovski to be the 145-pound champ at the end of the year. This division's pretty dry, pretty lackluster, and yeah, I mean, if Ilia Topuria moves up, I just don't think that there's very much competition with Volk. Moving on to the 155-pound division, we got lightweight, and this one is actually a very, very tricky one for me. I am going to go with Islam Makhachev to keep his belt throughout the entire year, but it's a very, very close race. Arman could very well beat Islam next weekend. I don't think he is. Very well could. I do assume that Islam's going to fight one more time this year. Maybe 2 more times, but I doubt that. I think that he's probably going to defend his belt next against a Max Holloway, or maybe he'll go up to 170. I would say Ilia Topuria. I do think that Ilia Topuria would be the one with the best chance to beat him, but Ilia wants Oliveira, which I don't know why he'd call out Oliveira. I honestly feel like he could just get a title shot moving up, but he's not going to give it to him. And since Max Holloway just destroyed Justin Gaethje and that was it at lightweight, I do think that they're probably going to give the title shot to Max next. Definitely not Dustin Poirier. Definitely not Patty. Definitely not Moicano. Definitely not... I can't even think of anybody else that could get the title shot, honestly. Definitely not Justin Gaethje, right? Definitely not Ilia Topuria or Charles Oliveira. They're going to fight each other, okay? After Arman, who's next at lightweight? It's probably Max Holloway. And I don't think Islam's going to have any trouble with Max Holloway. So I do think that Islam's going to retain the belt. He's going to keep the belt throughout 2025. I don't think anyone's really going to come close to beating him unless Ilia Topuria fights him this year. Which, if Ilia Topuria fights him this year, I would be picking Islam. But that is an amazing fight that I want to see so bad. Dana White, make it happen. Moving on, we have the welterweight division, and since JDM only wants to fight every 14 months, I don't think he's going to be the champion. And maybe to some people's surprise, I think it's going to be Belal Muhammad. I think Belal Muhammad's going to retain the belt. I do think that it's going to be a very, very close fight, assuming that Usman either moves up to 185 or fights Sean Brady, and Leon Edwards is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena in February. Then we're going to be doing Shavkat and Belal Muhammad for the belt. And Shavkat looked so bad against Ian Gary. I'm genuinely going to pick Belal Muhammad to beat Shavkat Rakhmonov. I know it's wild. I know it's crazy. But I actually think that Belal's going to win. Shavkat's wrestling, especially his defensive wrestling, is very, very poor. I'm going to be honest. It's poor. I think that Belal's going to be shooting on him. And I think that Shavkat's going to be so worried about the takedown, just like Leon Edwards was, that he might find himself getting caught on the feet against Belal Muhammad. So, I do think that Belal Muhammad's going to squeak it by. He's going to squeak it by. Okay? It's going to be a lot closer than his fight with Leon Edwards, but Shavkat looked so bad against Ian Gary, there's no way I can pick him to become champion right now. There's absolutely no way. So I do think that Belal Muhammad's going to keep his belt throughout the year. I don't think he fights more than just once. Okay, there's not really many fights lined up for Belal right now, and he's probably still like a month or so away from even getting booked for one. So I don't think that he's going to fight again this year after he fights Shavkat, and I think that just barely he is going to beat Shavkat. So give me Belal Muhammad to remain the welterweight champion at the end of the year. Moving on, we have the UFC middleweight division, and I think that the champion at the end of 2025 is going to be Khamzat Chimaev, bro. All right, brother. It's gonna be Khamzat. It's gonna be Khamzat, brother. What do you mean? What you mean, brother? It's gonna be Khamzat, brother. Listen. I know what you're saying. Khamzat only fights once a year. Khamzat's gonna move up and fight Pereira. No, he's not. All right. I do understand he only fights once a year, but I don't think he's gonna fight Pereira. I'm not gonna assume that he's gonna fight Pereira. All right. And assuming that he's not gonna fight Pereira, he smokes Strickland. He smokes Strickus. I mean, he just completely demolished and dusted up Robert Whittaker like it was nothing. Robert Whittaker is a very, very capable grappler, and his jiu-jitsu is not to be slept on. And Khamzat just went out there and choked him out in round 1, smashed his teeth in, broke his jaw like it was nothing. All right? Separated Whittaker's teeth from his mouth, dude. It was crazy, all right? Insane grip strength this guy has, insane wrestling, insane jiu-jitsu, but he does have terrible cardio, and we're still yet to see how someone reacts after surviving the first round with Khamzat, besides a Usman that went up a weight class on short notice with a knee injury. So we're still yet to see how Khamzat is in the later rounds against a good, capable, true middleweight. And I do think that Dricus or Sean Strickland could give him some trouble if they get out of the first round. But I don't think anybody at middleweight gets out of the first round with Khamzat. So with that being said, Khamzat Chimaev, middleweight champion, end of 2025. On to our second to last division, we have the UFC light heavyweight division. And I think that the champion at light heavyweight at the end of 2025 is going to be Magomed Ankalaev. I know what you're saying, but Pereira, bro. He's Poatan. Pereira. I know. I do think Pereira beats Ankalaev, but I don't think Pereira even fights Ankalaev. All right? I think Pereira is either going to vacate and move up, or maybe, I guess, have Khamzat move up, or maybe have him fight the winner of Hill versus Yuri. Pereira was tweeting about how it's not going to be Ankalaev, which it definitely should be. And if it's not Ankalaev, then someone's ducking each other, because there's no way Dana's just going to give Pereira another slow, kind of overweight striker, you know? Give him a monster of a fighter, a crazy Dagestani kind of wrestler. Ankalaev's kind of a wrestler, right? But I do think that it's going to be Magomed Ankalaev. Personally, I think Pereira's going to vacate the light heavyweight belt, move up and fight the winner of Jones and Aspinall, and then light heavyweight is going to be a vacant title fight between Magomed Ankalaev and the winner of Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka. And I think Magomed Ankalaev destroys the winner of Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka. So, give me Magomed Ankalaev to be the champion at the end of 2025. And finally, we have the UFC heavyweight division, and I think that the champion at the end of 2025, which should be nobody's surprise, is going to be Tommy Aspinall, baby. Tom Aspinall, he is an absolutely generational heavyweight. I think he smokes everybody. I think he smokes Pereira. I think he knocks out John Jones in a round. I think his type of talent and his skill set and the speed that he has at the size that he is unmatched. All right? We are still yet to see if his chin can get tested, and we're still yet to see if he has good cardio. But honestly, I don't even think he needs good cardio or a good chin, because his talent is seriously something like no other, and I think that he just smokes every single heavyweight. I'm not really going to go into it anymore. I don't have anything else to say. So I hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys more videos like this in the new year.